Good morning, everybody. Just as a reminder, our podcasts are being aired on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Monday's podcast concluded with the view that the US economy and its stock markets have been engaged in a giant Ponzi scheme. The economy, through government spending, making it appear stronger than it actually was under the hood, and stock market valuations were inflated by power brokers behind the Democrats. Thus, US equities have further to fall before rebounding in the fourth quarter and into 2026. Today's podcast will focus on the European economy and its markets. Optimism has become popular both for European equities and the economy. Funds have been moving out of US markets into Europe in the hopes of wide-scale fiscal spending on defense and infrastructure, the latter especially so in Germany, and on an imminent peace deal in the war in Ukraine. However, money growth remains modest, and rising bond yields and the euro have tightened financial conditions. There is growing talk within governments of using Russia's frozen assets as collateral for the proposed euro defense budget. If that happens, it would not exactly make Moscow happy. In Germany, we will have to see whether the new chancellor will be able to muster the necessary votes in the legislature to pass his euro 900 billion defense and infrastructure bill through parliament. There is also not uniformity within EU governments for creating an EU defense budget. Will such a budget also be at the expense of curtailing EU and national government spending on the green economy and others? The larger issue is the intended ceasefire and intended peace proposal over Ukraine. The meeting in Jeddah succeeded in America and Ukraine agreeing to a 30-day ceasefire. But will the major player in the war, Russia, also agreed? From everything we hear, most likely not. Past agreed ceasefires were broken by Ukraine and NATO, and Russia holds all the cards on the military field, despite what President Trump thinks. The spring and summer ground conditions will make Russia's advances towards the Dnieper River and beyond much better. Russia's major long-term concern is their future security. Within a few years, America will have perfected their hypersonic or equivalent technology. This means that drawing a boundary line along the Dnieper River would not give Russia's radar systems enough warning time of impending missile attacks. Russia needs all of Ukraine as a neutral playing field. To this end, they have some 300,000 troops assembled in the northeast, able to take Kiev if called upon by Moscow, and another 100,000 in the south, able to move into Odessa if Moscow so desired. It's clear that Russia would gain nothing from agreeing to this ceasefire, and that negotiations centered on ending the war will take months of negotiations once they start, more likely next year. And in fact, just today, the Kremlin spokesman said that there is no need to rush to put on rose-colored glasses now, and that one should always hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Many are now rushing to say that Americans will stop, or have already stopped, delivering weapons, and that Musk will shut off his communication systems and everything will work for us. Everything has been working out for us even without this. We have just been told that Ukraine has attacked the Russian pipeline that supplies energy to Hungary and Slovakia. Hungary has told Ukraine that the country considers this attack to be an act of war, which is an attack on its sovereignty. In sum, the war waters in Ukraine are just getting muddier. Ukraine can agree a ceasefire in Jeddah, yet simultaneously they attack their neighboring states. By mid-year, reality in Europe will have won over optimism, with European equity markets then falling by 15 to 20% and the economy sinking further before rebounding sharply in 2026. To conclude this podcast, it's time to build cash reserves, not to make long-term investments, but to play the cycles. In our view, markets should fall into September, all being well, depending on geopolitical tensions, either growing larger or not, either in the Middle East, Europe, or the Pacific. Most global equity markets should rebound sharply as the S&P by some 50% from this year's low into 2027. The trick then will not to be the last person on the dance floor, as chaos and crashing markets are likely to set up a dangerous period of rolling recessions or depression. On Friday, we will talk about some interesting developments in China, which are the real reasons why Washington has most to fear from unimpeded growth in China. Finally, just to say that this is a subscriber-supported website, so for more information, please access us on simon-hunt.com or Substack.